Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 25 card sales at the recent Mile High auction. This auction was pretty impressive because you saw the highest vintage non-sports card sale of all time. There's also some 60s baseball and football sets, including one that had over a 9 average grade, which means there's just a few PSA 10s in there. And yeah, we're going to cover the top 25 as well as a few honorable mentions. So let's take a look at some of these sales. All right, well, I'm going to start on the second page since there's 3 non-cards on the first page. So we're going to start off with a 1958 Jim Brown rookie. Now, taking a look at this, it looks like the centering is off a little bit top to bottom, but this is pretty good for a 58 because they're typically all over the place. It is an older label. Looking at the back, though, not a ton of damage, but again, there shouldn't be because it is a PSA 8. This one sold for $24,639. Up next, we have a Kareem rookie and an 8. New label on this side of things. Just kind of zooming in for you guys. It looks pretty nice. Okay, centering left to right. We're looking at 25,902. And our trio of 8s on this second page, Wilt Chamberlain, 1961 Fleer. Now, I don't know if that scratch right here is on the card or on the slab. I would assume it's on the slab. There is a fisheye on it. And take a look at that back. Overall, pretty clean back. They mentioned that scratch. Does not mention it, so yeah, I'm curious if scratches on there or not. We'll jump into some of these as honorable mentions at the very end, like the Koufax, but let's go to the first page and we'll take a look at some more lots. So there's quite a few sets on here. We'll start off with this 1960 high grade complete set, number 2 on the registry, which is really impressive, and almost a 9 GPA. And see, there's a Jim Brown there in an 8, Horning in an 8.5, Unitas 8, Bart Starr in a 9, Tittle in a 9. And I wonder if there's any 10s in here. Let's see what it says. Number 7 all time. 78 cards that are 9s. That's impressive. 9 8.5s and 8s. So no 10s on there, which I would expect would impact the price quite a bit. All right, we have a broadleaf Cy Young. I always like taking a look at these type of different backs. Really cool advertisement on this one. And a $30,000. Back collectors for T206s really pay up. I'm curious if they mention how many are in the pop. I'm just going to quickly glance over this. 1% of all T206 produced. Okay, so here we go. PSA has 1 and SGC has 3. So there's a pop for this specific Cy Young. Obviously, he has other poses, so there could be technically more broadleaf Cy Youngs out there. But in this pose itself, pop 4, pretty rare. Another great set, 1965, 175 out of 176, all PSA graded. And you're missing the Namath, which is the biggest card in the set. And, man, look at that. PSA 9, 3 cards. PSA 8, 123 cards. Did they put the Namath in the auction? It doesn't mention it, so I wonder if someone just kept the Namath, bought the set, kept the Namath, and just auctioned everything else. Still, you have $32,000 there, but that Namath in what, an 8 or 9, depending on what they had, that would have been an expensive card. Not covering the boxes, but 1954 Bowman unopened 1 cent box. I should have covered another card because I missed out on this one over here, seeing that this is a type 1. Ruth in rookie year from Underwood. We'll jump into a 1957 checklist complete PSA 8. is actually a lot of these eights just made our recent football video for eBay, and some of the eights. I mean, was it eights or nines? I can't remember. We're going for like $3,000. I couldn't believe it. Oh, maybe it was nines. We're going for like 3K. Some of the eights still do a couple $100 if I remember correctly, but then some of the other eights are pretty easy to find. I guess it just really depends on the player. We see a checklist over here. It's a pretty cool design on there. And I'd have to look really quick. I have my football video up to the side. No, it was some eights that sold for $3,000 this month. Howie Ferguson and Joe Childress. I'm not too familiar with them. But they sold quite a bit. There was actually a lot of 57s that sold in decent shape. Another one, Alex Webster, 8 sold for $3,000. And you'll have to watch that football video. But regardless, rest are grade PSA 8. This might have been a great buy based off of these recent comps. And obviously you have some pretty big names in here that star in a 7. Lane, bigger name. Unitas in an 8 is really, really nice. That's awesome. And I'm pretty sure Unitas was on this list. Or was Star. I can't remember who sold. Okay, it was Unitas 7 alone that sold for $2,000. And Unitas 8 sells for about $9,000. So you have $9,000 right here. That sold for $38,000. This could have been an awesome flip for someone. Here's the name at the 8 we were talking about in that 1965 set. That sold for $40,000 alone. I mean, it outsold the whole set. Now, no butterfly variant, just a clean hand right over here. So that's a full set, about $75,000. And Gretzky All-Star jersey, $40,000. Wonder if a company purchased that to turn into cards or a collector. Next, we have a 1964 hockey set. And if this design seems familiar, it should because, that influenced the 1965 Topps design. I will say I love this checklist card too. I don't know why I'm talking about a lot of checklist cards today, but this looks pretty sweet. And $42,000 on that side of things. Another box over here. We'll skip that. 1950 Bowman. I wonder if they hold a few big names. No, they didn't. They have Autogram right there, which is the biggest one. And Sammy Baugh, probably the second biggest. What, Tittles 3? I would assume. Oh, Motley's a big name as well in there. And those are all 8s. That's great. Is it just an 8 set? 7.987. Man, so close to an 8. Card number 1 is graded as 7. I wonder how expensive that would be to upgrade. But still, $44,000. Autogram also sold in that football video. Man, I'm really pushing that football video today. But those videos take a lot of effort to make compared to the auction recaps. Although I do like making the auction recaps. I'm trying to see really quick what that sold for. I have this over here. Yeah, 7 sold for $2,000 on that gram. So 8 would probably be at least a double multiplier, I would assume. Okay, E121 Ruth in a 4.5. A few different designs in this set. These have gotten quite expensive over the years. I mean, it looks like a pretty clean copy. I mean, it is having centering issues. I mean, it does, I should say, between top to bottom, but still, it did not impact the $45,000 price on there. 1967 Baseball Master set, number 4 on the registry. That's impressive. The current high bid for the cumulative group of singles, 156, is stronger than the total complete set, 89,000. The lot is currently losing. Oh, did they sell all the singles on here? I'm trying to see what this. The set is being offered as a complete set and also individual lots, and will be sold the highest aggregate result, whether some individual lots or the highest bidder of the complete set. I didn't see that on the other sets. I wonder if they only did that on this one, and that's why you'll see it didn't sell. Where is that at? Right here. Final price was 0. I wonder if they did that on these others. I mean, that is smart, though. But they didn't mention about doing that over here. This one sold for $64,000. You get the Rose in an 8. Oh, no, sorry. That's Stardoll right there. Where's our Rose at? Down here. Yeah, also in an 8. And It's the Oliva rookie, Mantle an 8. I mean, these are tough to get in high grade. I mean, they were more lenient in the past with these, but all the big names are in an 8. I wonder what ones are 9. 49 cards were graded 9. And 8, 8.5s. 3 7s. Really awesome on there. What ranking does this have? It did not mention. Okay, we're going to jump into 1960 tops. Also, 8 plus GPA on there. And doesn't mention any 9s. 37 cards graded a 9, but I assume it's none of the big names. They would have probably mentioned that. You have a Yaz and an 8. McCovey and an 8. Mantle and an 8. Koufax an 8. Mays 8. I mean, you have all the names that you want in your 8s. So, if there's any 7s in there, 5 cards graded 7. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much. Big names are in 8s. Probably commons that you could just upgrade pretty fast. Okay. 1970 tops, almost at a 9 GPA. Look at that. 8.773. That's also impressive, but does not mention where it's ranked at. They have this over here. Oh, okay. They mentioned it's ranked 16. I don't know why you wouldn't put that in the title. I would have put that in the title. Looking at these though, Amaze is an 8. The Ryan in a 9 is a massive card. Munson in a 9, really good too on that side of things. I mean, so you do have some 9s on the bigger ones in the set. I mean, that Ryan is such a popular card. 81,000. I wonder if someone got a pretty good deal breaking it up. 57 complete set. Again, they don't talk about like the single lots versus the full set. This sold for $88,000 though. And let's look at the bigger names. A lot of the value too with the 57s is based around centering. Although I would assume when you start getting to 8s, they have decent centering. But as you guys know, grading standards have not always been applied correctly throughout the history of all companies. Yeah, you can take a look. They're not too bad. I mean, there is some stuff with centering issues. I mean, it's so easy to nitpick cards. These are still really nice. You got to remember the age on them. And all these are 8s. So I think there's like 4 or 5 Hall of Fame rookies in 57. It's loaded. Now this card's interesting. This is the most expensive vintage non-sports card sale of all time. There was a 5 that sold, man, a long time ago for $95,000, and now this 3 eclipsed it, which is awesome to see. $101,000 for this McKinley. The guy was trying to sell the complete set at the National for like 50 to 60K, so he must be thrilled. I don't know if he sold the set or if he consigned it. Must be thrilled with this price because he still has the full set, and they were nice too, like 3 to 5s. You know, you have Washington, you have Lincoln, still the other commons and those type of grades, depending on the color, whether it's blue, red, or orange, still could do 100, 200, 300 bucks. And there's a lot of presents that are collectible, even if not in that like Washington or Lincoln, right? You have like the Jeffersons, you have the Grants and stuff like that, Adams, Andrew Jackson, you know, stuff that really sells. Teddy Roosevelt, FDR, Roosevelt. I mean, quite a lot. So $101,000. A lot of these also are marked as canceled. So having this unpunched, I think, does add a little bit more value associated with it. Although I think all the punched ones do get 1s, but I could be wrong on that side of things. Still, I didn't predict the 100,000. I thought this card would do probably 40 to 60,000 at auction. I'm blown away with the sale, to be honest with you guys. But it's great to see on the non-sports side of things. All right, we have a 1958 Topps complete set, 8.125 GPA. I mean, you're really looking for Maris in this year. I mean, it's a pretty weak set, in my opinion, based off of like rookies and stuff like that. But I don't mind the design on the 58s. $101,000 for that sale. We're jumping into our final 6. Before we jump into some honorable mentions, there's some cool honorable mentions, but Jim Brown, the only PSA 10 for 1961, this sold for $151,000. We're really scaling up now. It went up $50,000 to that Brown. Then we have a 1962 master set with green tint and other variations complete. Wow, that's great. And 8.117 GPA. It's really good. These 62s are another one that gets damaged quite easy. Although I don't love like 62 and 68. I'm not a huge fan of those designs. I know if some people are, that's awesome, but I just don't like the design on them. 1968. Let's see. What are Ryan? Oh, Ryan's an 8. I mean, Brooks Robinson at 10 is a massive card. Killebrew Mays Mantle on a 9 is massive. Mays on a 9. Rose on a 9. Bench on a 9. I mean, that I think that sucks. It's an 8, but still, it's a 9.35 GPA. That's crazy to me. Man, you even getting 1-9 back if you submitted 68 today as a comment, you'd be thrilled, man. And full set over a 9. There's a lot of 10s. I wonder how many 10s there are in here. 26% of the set is PSA 10s. Wow, that's really cool. $182,000 on that one. 1951 Bowman Mays and an 8 that sold for $190,000. I think that's a third 8 that just sold at 3 different auction houses: REA, Heritage, and now Mile High. A lot of Mays stuff is flooding into the market now. 58 Jim Brown and an 8.5. Not a bad copy. That sold for $220,000. How many 9s is there? Or 200 Jim Brown grades, 8, but only 7 have reached 8.5, and just 6 with 9s. So there you go. No 10s, I would assume, because they don't mention it, and this is such a tough release. You can see there's no snowing on this card. It is a little OC, but it's still a nice copy. The most expensive one, Eddie Plank. There was also another Eddie Plank that sold. REA had an Eddie Plank in their auction. I don't think it was a 5 though. I mean, this has centering issues, but like it's an Eddie Plank. Even if it's a 1, it's just still an impressive card. And this is a 5, and that sold. Did not sell. Final price. Look at that. It says final price there for $363, but final price buyer premium not here. Did it not hit the minimum? I guess it didn't hit the minimum, and it technically didn't sell. Kind of sucks sometimes with these auction videos. So that did not sell, or someone pulled out at the bid. I'm not too sure what happened there. I assume it's a minimum thing. What I want to show you guys is a few honorable mentions. So up first, we have a Sitting Bull CDV. What's interesting though is someone affixed an autograph on here, it looks like, and then I can't tell if like someone wrote that or just got that in person. Not too sure. Look, signed clip signature, which has been adhered to the photograph, but the G ties the signature to the very photo. So does the photo have... I'm interested on this to see what's going on. Like, does that CDV typically have like a signature there and they added that? Or is that like a pen mark? Let's read this. Okay, it's a cabinet card, but then it says CDV. I haven't seen this card, by the way. Marks the only instance where Sitting Bull sat for a formal portrait, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I just can't tell if like someone just filled out that G, or if I assume someone just wrote a pen in that G. But like I said, I've never seen the Sitting Bull before. And even a Sitting Bull Allen Ginter in a 1 is like $500-600. This might have been a pretty sneaky buy, and I thought it was pretty cool. Another one that I wanted to show you guys, 1965 Topps file, 2 complete sets. So the listing, I read a little bit about it beforehand. These are binders that Topps used, kind of as like reference material, like they're keeping their cards all together. And what they would do is they would glue in here the front and the back of the cards. So you can see all these all over here. And this is just a pretty cool piece of Topps history, especially if you're a hockey fan, or you like Topps history. This is a awesome piece for you. Like, look at that, handwritten notes and everything. I mean, this is awesome, and it sold for $6,355. Okay, so I want to show 2 more things really quick. First is just some of the other cards on page 2, because technically didn't show the top 25 because a few things didn't sell, but 55 Koufax and an 8, about $24,000 on that one, and Kuzi and an 8. And what I want to also talk about both these, they both do signing still. Kuzi's doing his apparently last public signing. I wonder if someone bought this and is going to send it to get signed. It's risky. It's risky. But, man, could you imagine getting this one signed? Same with Koufax. He still does public signings a lot more than Kuzi. But, man, what would be the value add if you got those on there? I'll just jump through some other stuff. Unitas in a PSA 9. I think we've covered a few of these 9s before in these auction recaps. 16,000. A Seaver and a 9, 13,850. It always seems so cheap to me, but there has to be like a decent amount of 8s and 9s out there. Although I don't see a lot of Seaver rookies at card shows. And you still see some Ruths, a Sports King, and then exhibits. 8 Evers is pretty nice. We'll jump one more page. There's 90 pages in this auction. I scrolled through all the non-sports too. So much Pokemon. I'm not covering Pokemon here. This is a printing defect that's become really popular over the years. Herrera, and $12,130, just based off of that last letter not printing fully. So always check your Pancho Herreras, because you never know. And Dr. J and a 9, $10,366. A Satch, 49 Bowman, 6, $7,500. But yeah, I think that's how I'm going to end this auction recap. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe. Try to cover all the bigger auctions, and I also do an eBay Top 25 series, which I talked about a few times in this video. All right, I will see you guys in another video.